6 signs that your relationship is over. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about the 6 signs that your relationship is over. But before we get into this video, please leave a like on it and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you would like me to discuss something in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments. Or if you have any tips, any advice yourself, then also leave that down in the comments as well, so we can help each other out. Thank you so much. So the first thing that I just want you to know before we get into these 6 signs is that if 2 people are really truly willing to work things out, then it doesn't matter about these 6 signs, because as long as both of you are willing to work on the relationship and to help mend things, then any relationship can be rebuilt, can be made right. The only things that really destroy relationships is when there's been a misuse of trust. So if the trust has gone, then that's a lot harder to come back from. But we're not going to be talking about things like cheating or other things that can really ruin trust in a relationship. So let's get into the first sign that your relationship might be over. So the first sign is disgust. So if everything that they do just seems really disgusting to you, so that you might really hate the way that they chew things, you might hate the way that they smell. If you start feeling disgust towards your partner, then that's a huge red flag, because obviously if you feel disgusted by them, you're not going to really feel very attracted to them. And if you're mostly disgusted by them than attracted to them, then that's a sign that your relationship is coming to a halt. However, this is something that can be rectified. You can tell your partner to say, oh, I'd really appreciate it if you showered more or something, or I'd really appreciate if you try not to eat so loudly or something, And also when you do that, it's important to say to them, is there something that you wish I didn't do that I can change? So it's really important that you have that communication. And if there's something that your partner is doing that is repulsing you and putting you off them, you need to tell them, you need to bring it up. I know it's going to be probably a really tough talk, a really tough discussion, but it needs to be said if it's putting you off them and it's ruining the relationship that you have. Passion and attraction for someone is something that can be rekindled. So the second sign that your relationship might be over is when you are annoyed by them or they're annoyed by you. So obviously this goes both ways, by the way. All these signs go both ways. So if you find them really annoying, and again, it kind of ties into disgust, like let's say if they chew really loudly and you find it really annoying, or it might be the way that they talk, it might be maybe they keep on bringing up the same stories over and over again when you're at parties. So if you find yourself rolling your eyes all the time at everything that they do and you just find them really annoying, and you don't really want to be around them because they're so annoying, then obviously that's a real big red flag that this relationship is coming to an end, and it may end. But again, this is something that can be rectified. All it takes is just open communication with your partner, telling them the things that make you feel annoyed about them. Again, also leaving it, saying to them that if there's something that you find annoying about me, then please tell me so I can rectify that, so I can change it, so we can have a peaceful coexistence, basically. And it may be a tough discussion, it may not be a comfortable discussion, but if it saves the relationship and you really want to be in this relationship, then it's worth having. Don't let all these little annoyances build up, because it will come back to bite you if you don't handle it now while the issue is still small. So the third sign that your relationship might be over is there is no respect in the relationship. And this one is probably the one that will cause the end of a breakup. Because if you don't respect each other, then, let's say you don't trust what your partner is saying, everything that they say just feels really stupid to you and you just don't respect what they say to you. If you just think that everything that they do and everything that they say is stupid, then that's a huge sign that your relationship is coming to an end. If you have no respect for your partner, then there's no way that you two can be a good partnership. You have to have that respect there. But again, it is something that can be built upon. It is something that you can rectify. It's really difficult if this is the phase that you've got to where you just don't respect them. but it can be rectified if you are willing to work on the relationship, and so are they. So the fourth sign to tell if your relationship is coming to an end is if there's like passive aggressive communication and no one's really saying what they truly feel. So it's important, and it's very difficult as well, to actually really truly say what is on your mind when you are with your partner. Don't expect your partner to be a mind reader. Don't expect your partner to know the answers. Sometimes you really do have to say to your partner what they're doing that's annoying you, and not just letting them hopefully come to their own conclusion, because they might not ever come to that conclusion. Sometimes some people need a wake up, because sometimes we as human beings, we live life on autopilot. We're kind of doing the same things every day without really even thinking sometimes. So therefore, if your partner is doing something that you don't like, you need to tell them. You need to have that communication. You need to say what is on your mind. Because if you don't, it's just going to keep on building up and building up over time. And eventually that relationship is going to come to an end, or there's going to be a massive outburst and a big blowout argument. So you want to be able to tackle those things while they are small. When you start feeling annoyed by your partner, just say to them what they're doing that's annoying you, that's making you feel a little bit peeved. Just tell them, be honest, tell them what is going on. And that's the way that you can rectify the situation. And you need to tell them also, if let's say they're not good at communication, you need to say to them, look, I'd really appreciate it if you just told me what was wrong. I need you to tell me, because if you don't tell me, then I don't know and I can't change the situation. You need to say what is on your mind. Now, of course, there are some people out there that just will never do this, that are just too proud, that will always just expect you to know all the answers. And obviously, that's not the kind of person that you want to be with, because that can create a very toxic environment. You need to be very clear about your communication. And if they are not willing to communicate like you, then that's their problem, and perhaps this relationship really does need to come to an end. Because if you aren't honest and open about how you feel, about what's going on, then basically these things, these little annoyances are just going to build up over time, and it's going to become a monster, basically. It's going to become a hydra, and it's going to make the situation so much worse. But you can rectify that by just tackling those little annoyances while they are still small. So the fifth sign to know if your relationship is coming to an end is avoidance. So if you feel like you have to avoid your partner, if you're always tiptoeing around them, if you just don't like being around them, if you're always finding excuses to go out with your friends and basically finding excuses not to spend time with your partner, then that's a huge sign that your relationship might be coming to an end. But again, all these things can be rectified with honest and open communication, and if both partners are willing to work on the relationship. And the last sign to know if your relationship is coming to an end is if your living environment just has a lot of bad vibes. So, I mean, obviously you might not be living together, but when you're around them, do you just feel really negative? Do you feel sad? Do you feel on edge? Do you feel like you're always having to tiptoe around them? When you kind of leave the environment, do you feel worse than when you did when you came into it? You know, how are you feeling? You know, how does the environment feel? Are you getting bad vibes from them? So if you don't enjoy being around them, and if you are having those bad vibes, if you feel like you just feel drained when you're with them, like they're an energy vampire, if you feel really sad, if you feel really down all the time, and it's because of being in this environment with your partner, then obviously that's a huge sign that your relationship is coming to an end, because you don't want to be around someone who makes you feel miserable. You don't want to be around someone who is bringing you down all the time. But again, this can all be solved with just some honest communication. I can only give you some advice. I'm obviously not like a relationship counsellor or a relationship therapist or anything like that. I'm only a coach. So I can only tell you what has worked for me from my own experience. And basically what's really worked for me, what's really helped me in my own relationship, in my own marriage, is being able to be honest and open with my partner and giving them the environment to be able to do the same. So that means if your partner does say something to you that sucks, then it may be something maybe even a bit embarrassing. Like they may not like the way that you're dressing, or they may not like the way that you eat. You know, maybe something embarrassing. It may be the fact that you don't shower enough. They may bring up something about hygiene, and it may be embarrassing. But whenever my wife tells me something honestly and openly, I try to thank her for actually being honest with me. Like, I try not to become defensive. I try not to make her wrong or make her feel bad for saying something to me that is obviously something that's on her mind. Because if I do, then she's going to stop saying those things to me, and then she's going to keep it inside, and those things are going to build up, and it's going to become a huge problem in the future. So having that space where you can say to your partner, look, tell me honestly and openly, it doesn't matter, I just want to make sure that this relationship is good and healthy, so just tell me what's on your mind. And I promise I won't get mad at you, I won't get upset with you, just tell me, and I won't make you feel wrong for being honest with me. Just tell me what's going on. And then being able to do the same with them. So having that understanding that both of you can have that communication, that can really talk things out and get through something and figure out like a win-win situation or some kind of negotiation, whatever that situation might be. Now, of course, there have been times, like in my personal life, where I've been cheated on, not by my wife, but from a previous relationship. Now, those relationships, if you've been cheated on, those ones rarely work out because of the underlying trust issue. You don't want to spend your life always like with one eye open, wondering what your partner is up to if you've been cheated on. So my personal advice for someone who's been cheated on is to actually leave that situation, because you don't want to live your life like that. You don't want to live your life on edge and always wondering what they're doing. Once that kind of trust has been broken, I think it's very rare that it can be rectified. I'm not saying it can never be rectified, but it's very likely that it won't be rectified. At least that's what I've discovered from my own experience. Those kinds of things where someone really abuses the relationship in that way, like it doesn't even have to be cheating. It could be something like something physical as well, like some kind of physical violence. Then obviously those are the kinds of relationships that you need to leave, and you need to leave immediately, because the trust isn't there. You can't trust someone like that. At least that's what I found from my own experience. If you would like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. On the shop page, there is a dating and relationship manual that is free that you can download. If you do download it, please let me know. If you have any critiques or anything that you want me to add to it so I can make it the best product possible for those people that want it. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.